the longer it takes for you to become aware of the issue, the more reactive you become. One of the biggest barriers consistently that we see time and time again is actually just the organizational attitude towards security is the biggest barrier towards a proactive state. It's not a tech problem. It's not a solutions problem. Like, there are many ways to adopt this. Continually, we see, corporate security teams, business resilience teams, and functions being severely underfunded at the exact same time when the world is more volatile and there's more crisis events happening at any given time. Some organizations that might be a bit more focused on compliance and checkboxes are often kind of okay with reacting to situations because their primary focus might not be as much focused on, turning a bad situation into the best possible outcome. So when we think about a reactive organization, they tend to be finding out about crisis events, too late to even take proper evasive action. So in our context, we see a lot of organizations that are very reactive, watching the 6 o'clock news, hitting refresh on BBC and CNN, trying to find out about world events long after they've happened and then map it back to their assets or their people to say, yeah, this was a problem for us. But by their very nature of their workflow and their mindset on it, they are reacting to things and actually have very little chance of proactively doing anything about it. What we mean by proactive is, what are the forward-looking things that we can anticipate around some of these crisis events? What are the planning and procedures that we're going to put in place so that when they do happen, you can actually react accordingly? But very specifically, I think where we see a lot of organizations fail is in that awareness gap, that time it takes them to become aware of a crisis event really needs to be sped up to actually turn that into sort of a proactive workflow. In a world where you have a real-time alerting tool, right? We've got all their assets mapped in a system, so we know where their locations are, where their drivers are at any given time, right? So that's stored within the system directly. And layering on top of that, the fast crisis alerts that our AI and our teams produce give those organizations a fighting chance to be proactive in some of the worst possible situations. So when something bad happens, they will be notified within minutes to say there's a crisis unfolding right now as we speak, and it directly impacts these 3 people or X number of people in this specific location. This is the recommended action that you take. Organizations that have a reactive mindset to say that I will only pick up the pieces when something bad happens to me will be the organizations that will not be as competitive or as safe versus organizations that do take it seriously, that have a proactive mindset saying the world is more volatile. More things are being disrupted constantly. So we need to have systems, tools, procedures, programs in place to meet that new reality. And so that's kind of how we think about it too, in terms of, a proactive mindset. It starts there from even a leadership standpoint, right? Of the world is being more disrupted. So, we need to be on top of this.